Hi, my name is Dave Nickarz and I'm your Green candidate for Wolseley in the upcoming 2016 provincial election. And what I'd like to talk today about is the events surrounding climate change that happened in July. I want to talk about the tar sands pedal and paddle action that happened on July 4th, the Premier's Conference and Nexen oil spill that happened in the middle of July, and the financial directions that the oil industry is taking and some of the price crash stuff that happened at the end of July. So first of all, the tar sands pedal and paddle. I participated in that action on July 4th. It was a very hot day and we were experiencing quite a lot of smoke from the forest fires over Saskatchewan. And about 100 people got on their bikes and about a dozen canoes went down the river in a action to show that we are greater than the tar sands, is what we were trying to say. So we ended up at the Forks after riding and canoeing down the streets and rivers. There was a lot of entertainment and speakers at the Forks once we got there. This action was to oppose the pipeline coming through. The Energy East pipeline is a danger to the climate. It's a danger to the people who are working and living near the tar sands. And it's a danger all along the way, especially in the 40-year-old leaky pipeline they want to reuse. They want to reuse a natural gas pipeline in Manitoba that's 40 years old, and we know that it leaks. And it's probably not up to the job. It's most likely not up to the job of putting tar sands bitumen, diluted bitumen through it to get it to markets. So I really see this as a turning point in history. You know, we have this pipeline which is trying to get all this tar sands oil out of the ground and to market in a last-ditch attempt to take advantage of sort of the end of the era of oil and fossil fuels. And they're doing it by eliminating environmental laws across the country, and they're pushing it through. And unfortunately, the premiers are all on board. The three major parties are quite a bit in support of this pipeline. The Premier's Conference in the middle of July really showed that the premiers have no coherent plan on climate change. They signed on to an agreement that really didn't make them take any meaningful action. But a meaningful action they did take was a promise to reduce the red tape and usher through the pipeline, including in our province. Our Premier Selinger wants to reduce the red tape to help the Energy East pipeline come through the province. So, you know, the three main parties are all pro-pipeline. And that's of course where the Green Party comes in. We're opposed to the pipeline. We want to stop the expansion of the tar sands. We want that to start contracting. And we have a climate that is in trouble. It's in trouble. You can see it all around the world. During the Premier's Conference, a pipeline burst in Alberta near Fort McMurray. And it was a one-year-old pipeline that was double-walled and it had leak detection. Not only did it not detect a leak, but it burst and spilled 5 million liters of diluted bitumen all over the muskeg and polluted the area, caused a major pipeline spill. Not only do we not have confidence that a 40-year-old natural gas pipeline is going to handle diluted bitumen coming through the province, which is Energy East, but even the new technology, the stuff that's only a year old, still blows and doesn't get detected. So I don't think anybody should have any confidence in Energy East. And I don't know why our Premier is so on board about getting this pipeline through. It doesn't make any sense. 78% of Manitobans agree or strongly agree that taking action on climate is more important than building pipelines. If all of the oil in the tar sands were burnt, it would increase the global average temperature by 0.4 degrees Celsius. So it's going to increase, like that's just from the tar sands alone. So this issue is not just a scientific issue, it's not just a populist issue, it's a moral issue. It's more than just, you know, oh, this could have bad effects. It will have bad effects. So in particular here in Manitoba, part of the reason why there's a Green Party is because traditional parties, including the NDP, don't take these issues seriously. Yes, they say things about them. Yes, they do some minor things in legislation, but they certainly don't take climate change seriously. And the Premier's Conference really showed us that. The Premier Selinger wants to reduce the red tape for the Energy East pipeline to come through Manitoba. The greenest MLA in the NDP, Rob Altemeyer, has been questioned about this several times, and he has no response to it. As the Green Party candidate for Wolseley in the upcoming 2016 election, I am firmly against the pipeline. I do not want to help the tar sands expand, and it's something that my opponent in the election should at least have an opinion on instead of being silent, which is what he's done for the last 6 or 8 months on this issue. Rob Altemeyer has not said anything about the Energy East pipeline. So by the end of July, there was some good news on the fossil fuel front and the global climate change front. The financial industry indicated that fossil fuels are no longer a good investment, and there was a crash in the price of oil. The price of oil per barrel went below $50 a barrel, and $200 billion of new spending on fossil fuel infrastructure was shelved, 30% of which was in Canada. This is good news. This means that most of the 20th century and for the last many years, there was always, some money to be made in the oil industry. But not only is it good that that's declining, but there are alternatives. It's not just a matter of saying one thing's bad. We're not just naysayers. Solar power provides many more jobs than the fossil fuel industry does per unit of energy. This is a good trend. This is going in a good direction. So the end of July, after a really hot July, we've seen some changes, and it's not just from the grassroots level. It comes from the financial industry. It comes from some politicians, I would say green ones, and it's coming from the public. The public is really on board with this. Like I was saying, most of the public in Manitoba is opposed to the Energy East pipeline. And there are alternatives, and people realize this. They're not scared anymore. So our politicians need to follow suit. With the provincial election 9 months away, it's a little bit early to be talking about these issues in terms of the province. But you can get involved. You can join the Green Party. You can volunteer for us. We also need candidates. You can take part in the nonprofit organizations that are working very hard to oppose this pipeline and to save the climate. And if you can't vote green and you're with another political party, then work to make your political party more green. Press your candidates on this issue. One of the things that I've seen with Rob Altemeyer on his Facebook page is that people keep asking him about the Energy East pipeline and what's happening with it. They expressed displeasure at Premier Selinger's support of the pipeline, and he really has no response for it. So encourage not just Rob or all sorts of other MLAs that you have into becoming more green and to opposing the pipeline and taking meaningful action on climate.